So when you don't see an example of something in the content space, sometimes you're just simply early. When you start creating content and you start doing something like slightly differently, but you look around, you just don't see many people doing the same thing or doing it like you're doing it. And sometimes that can make you feel like very frustrated. It can make you feel just like a tad bit isolated. But again, what I've usually seen is just like, it's typically that you're early. And so I always have this sort of like mantra that I use, and it's when you don't see an example, you just might have to be the example. um, and it's not something that you should shy away from. It's definitely something that you should get curious about. So like, for example, if you get on YouTube, a lot of people get stuck when they don't see an example of what they want to do on YouTube. If they don't see it done exactly like how they do it. And it's most likely because, you have your own experiences and your own frameworks that you created to do the thing. And then also with YouTube, it doesn't give you like the constant dopamine hits that you get with Instagram or TikTok. And it doesn't always immediately like reward you for trying something new. It's definitely like a long-term game. And a lot of the time, especially when you're doing something original or harder to categorize, you kind of have to work for it before it works for you. So that doesn't mean that you're necessarily like you're doing it wrong. It just means that you're literally building something that needs time, or that it takes time. So I can share a few, maybe like one or two stories of how I have seen this play out in my work as a creator, business owner, filmmaker. So the first time I specifically remember this happening was when I had worked on a short documentary. So we spent close to half a year filming this short documentary, probably longer than that. I had came to the subject of the film, the person of the film, with the idea. I thought it was a really good idea. So the topic was fat phobia, but it was also about self-confidence. Those two things are typically not usually used in the same sentence, let alone explored together. So after we finished the film up, we had hosted a private screening for our Instagram followers at the time. So she had, I think, close to 50,000. It might have been more. She had a lot of followers. And I had about almost 9 or 10,000, I think. So we sold tickets to the screening for about $10 to $20, and we made about $1,000 in ticket sales. After that, we did what independent filmmakers are taught to do, So I submitted the film to film festivals, and I actually reinvested the money that I had got from the screening into submitting to film festivals, because that's actually not free. Some of those film festivals require for you to like pay for like entry. So I applied to around 8. And over the next several months, we were rejected again and again. And eventually I just stopped keeping count of like the rejection. So this was like a few months to maybe like a year of this. And like the packaging of the documentary, it was a very strong package. Like the cover art, it was very beautiful. It was a bit explicit, I'm not gonna lie, but the packaging itself was solid. But it wasn't clearly like landing where we thought it was, like where we thought it would. Seven it was at 1.7 out of the 8 film festivals rejected it, and we eventually got accepted into one of the film festivals, which was a win. We were super excited about it. It was a win for me. It was a win for her and her community. Everybody was super excited. After that, I'm not gonna lie, it just sat on my Vimeo page, privated, and I was like, because we could have went way deeper into the brand. We were talking about, setting up other side projects and stuff like that, because, she really has like a lot of support around her brand. But it just kind of fizzled out. Now, fast forward to earlier this year, I decided to move my portfolios off of Vimeo and onto YouTube. I was like, there's no point of them being on Vimeo. I don't usually use Vimeo anymore, and I'm paying for this storage for no reason. And with YouTube, the videos can get more traffic than what they're doing now. So I created a portfolio page here on YouTube, and when I put that specific video on YouTube, again, I just kind of thought nothing of it. I did put it to public. I put the cover art on it and stuff, and yeah, I checked back within a month, and the video was literally just like taking off and going viral. It has about, I think, 45,000 views. So when I told my partner in the film, the subject of the film, and she said something that stuck with me, and it's sometimes, when you want something to catch like in that moment, and you like have like a story to tell, and you're just wanting to get it out there in the moment, it doesn't really take off in that moment, but later when the timing is right, it will find its own audience. And that is exactly how YouTube works. So sometimes when you post videos and you're creating all this content, it doesn't take off in that very moment, but give it a few months or give it a few years, and randomly it just like kind of shoots up to the stars. The second example is like more recent. It's like another video. It was a video that was recently an outlier on my channel. So before I posted it, I searched for it. I did not see many people talking about it. It was literally just one person talking about it. And I wanted to talk about it, but I was hesitant because I was worried that nobody was going to know what I was talking about. But, I posted it anyway. I packaged it in a way that I thought would make people understand. And yeah, it became one of my outliers. And yeah, people didn't just watch it. They were commenting that it was insightful, that it was helpful. Someone said that it made them want to start creating content again. So, both experiences taught me the same thing, and that sometimes that it truly is like, sometimes things take time to sort of like catch hold and go off, and then also sometimes if there is not an example of something, you have to share and you have to be an example. Now, another thing that I want to note about this sort of like content, especially when you talk about very niche things, is that over time, and then actually when you're starting, this actually becomes like your unfair advantage. So there's a creator, he's called Ali Abdul, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, and he talks about sort of like this unfair advantage on YouTube thing. So it's the thing that you have that can't be easily replicated because it's built from your experiences, your background, and the path that you took to get there. So in my case, my unfair advantage on YouTube is that I literally already had deep production knowledge, deep YouTube marketing knowledge, not YouTube marketing, but video marketing knowledge before I got on YouTube. So when I got on YouTube, I kind of knew the rules for how things were supposed to be shot, edited, packaged, and presented. And because I knew the rules and know the rules, I also know when and how I can break them. So that's what allows me to strip things down, experiment with like minimal editing, and trust that the idea will carry the video. And I'm sometimes I'm not really worried about what the video does, because I'm like, eventually it'll do what it needs to do. But yeah, your unfair advantage, it usually becomes one of three things. It becomes one, the thing that you're known for; two, the thing that you can speak about with clarity; and three, the thing that people connect to you for. So yeah, and it matters because, like, again, if you want to stand out, you can't sound like everybody else. And Being early when you're talking about specific topics, it forces you to sound like yourself. So, if this is you and you feel like you're early in your industry and you feel like sometimes you're talking to crickets or whatever the case may be, there are a few things that you can actually do that might help. So first, you can put a name to what you're doing. So this is how personal frameworks are built, especially with AI. When you name what you're doing clearly, you give something to for like people to latch onto like over time, and then that language kind of becomes associated with you, and eventually, you know, AI can't replicate that. Second, understand that sometimes when you're early, there usually isn't much hype. Sometimes people genuinely don't know what to do with the idea just yet. So this often means that at first you'll get like fewer views, slower traction, and you might have to do a little bit more explaining. Especially if you're literally just building an audience. That's completely normal for it to take its time. And then also, definitely don't shy away from talking about the specific thing. Like, especially if you have deep or specific knowledge in that specific area, definitely still talk about it. You just may need to find different ways to reframe it and the packaging of it. So when I say packaging, I mean like thumbnail and title that makes it more digestible. So you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but the packaging, the title, and the thumbnail might need to be a little bit more digestible for people to actually click on it. So yeah, I just wanted to create this video because I know sometimes when we're just starting on YouTube or we have a small channel and we're waiting for it to grow, it's really easy to get caught up in views and why is this not taking off? Why is this not doing this and all this other stuff? And so I just wanted to make the video to say that it is okay. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer for things to catch on. If you felt like your channel has sort of like been a slow burner and it's like taking forever to sort of like catch on, definitely let me know in the comments. What is your experience with it? Yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.